Hey friends, it's Meagan the Muggle, and this week is Harry Potter week on my channel. All the videos for 7 days are all Harry Potter name themed. Same with my Instagram and blog. So today I thought though it would be fun to look at 20 of the most fascinating character names from the Harry Potter series. Of course, there are way more than 20 fascinating names. I had to limit myself, and if some of your favorite characters are missing, chances are that I'm going to talk about them in a video later this week. This is just video 2 of 7, and I'm going to try not to repeat characters too much if I can. So here are 20 delightful names. I'm just going to talk about them in alphabetical order. We'll pick our favorites at the end. That's always one of my favorite parts of these. And I'm going to include the first and last names of the characters because I think one of the most delightful things that J.K. Rowling did with her characters was pairing the names. She is truly a namer at heart. She knows what she's doing. So let's go ahead and get started. The first name that I have on my list is Albus Dumbledore. What a great name to start with. And how fun is Albus Dumbledore together? See what I'm saying? Okay, so Albus is an ancient Latin name that means white. Many male characters in this series have names that end with the letter S, I was noticing. And I also read that Rowling chose the surname Dumbledore because it comes from an Old English word that means bumblebee, and she pictured Dumbledore to be kind of roaming around humming to himself like a bumblebee would hum. So yeah, what do you think of the name Albus? The second name on my list is Andromeda Tonks. What a strong name. Andromeda is a Greek name from Greek mythology, and it's important to kind of note here that J.K. Rowling's degree is in classics. My brother, who actually got me into the Harry Potter series, was a classics major as well. That's what his degree is in. And her educational background, though, J.K.'s, in classics is really prevalent in how she names her characters or how she names spells and other things in her series. And tons of these names, the majority of them, have Greek and Latin origins. So I thought that was kind of cool just to add in. Back to Andromeda though. Andromeda means to think of man. It's also a constellation name. Lots of constellation names in this series as well. And it's the name of a mythical princess. Andromeda is just one of those big old fun dramatic names to say. It is a little bit guilty pleasure for many of us, but oh, imagine the nickname possibilities that you can get from a big name like Andromeda. That might be the biggest draw for it to me. Okay, the next name I have on my list is Bellatrix Lestrange, and see how perfectly eerie that surname is for this character. I could see a lot of people actually liking this name, maybe not liking it for the character association, but it has a lot of familiar, appealing sounds to it, that Bella sound. I think people would actually like Trix as well as a nickname. And Bellatrix is the third brightest star in the Orion constellation. It's a Latin name that means female warrior. Then I've got Draco Malfoy, and I think Draco is actually a pretty usable sounding name, one of the most usable on my list here today. And again, if the character association doesn't bother you, I think it'd be definitely, it sounds like names people would like. People are really liking that O sound at the end of names, I've noticed. Draco comes from an ancient Greek name meaning dragon, and what little boy wouldn't love that meaning? It also happens to be the name of a constellation, and Danica McKellar used this name for her son when she was naming him. The fifth name on my list is Gellert Grindelwald. How fun is that? I love the alliteration and how distinctive sounding this name is. Gellert has German and Hungarian roots. It is often seen as a surname name. It may also come from the name Gerard, and it means strong or brave with a spear. Very powerful meaning there. Then I have Gilderoy Lockhart. All of these names are just so perfect, I think, for the characters that they represent. I say this name and I think of him or what I think he might look like. And Gilderoy is possibly a variant of the name Gilroy, meaning son of the red-haired man. Number 7 on my list is a favorite, and that is Ginevra Weasley, or you might know her as Ginny Weasley, but her full name is Ginevra, and I think that is such a great name for a witch, and it is a standout name in her family. Her family has more ordinary or familiar names. I love how cool and mysterious the name Ginevra is, and how sweet and kind of wholesome Ginny is as a nickname. Ginevra is Italian. It's a form of the name Guinevere, meaning white shadow. Then I've got a name I think many of you will love, and that's Kingsley Shacklebolt. I think Kingsley is very usable, maybe one of the most usable ones on this list. It sounds very much like on the pulse of what people are liking in names right now. It's an Old English surname, and it means the King's Woods. It sounds a little bit like a Kingston, like Gwen Stefani's son, but I actually prefer Kingsley to Kingston. What do you think? You can tell me which you prefer in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Then I have Lucius Malfoy. Oh, those Malfoys sure do have some pretty cool names. I've got another one coming up for you in a little bit. I've also heard this name pronounced Lucius. I do prefer the Lucius pronunciation personally. It's an ancient Roman name meaning light, and I just like the sound of it, and I like the meaning as well. Number 10 on my list is Minerva McGonagall, and you know the alliteration lover in me is just going wild for this one. This is a name I actually know someone with this name and don't have the best association to it, or I didn't before this character, but because of the character it makes me like the name. Minerva is a Roman goddess of wisdom in mythology, and it's a Latin name meaning intellect, so really good meanings kind of all around. And I could see this name being used by a braver namer than myself. Think of the nicknames you could get, like Minnie. That's pretty cute to me. Okay, number 11 is Narcissa Malfoy. Oh, those Malfoys again with their interesting names. Narcissa is a name from Greek mythology. You might think of Narcissus, but Narcissa actually means daffodil, which is a pretty friendly little flower. It's my mom's favorite flower, actually, and you know I love flowers, so. Number 12 is Nymphadora Tonks. Seriously, how could this name not be on this list? However, the character preferred to just go by her surname. She was not a fan of her given name, so she often just went by Tonks. Nymphadora, though, is a Greek name meaning gift of the nymphs. Number 13 is Percival Dumbledore. Percival is an old French name that means one who pierces the veil or pierces the valley. It's also a name used under another spelling in the Anne of Green Gables series, which is pretty close to my heart, so that's kind of why I wanted it on this list too. Then I have Pomona Sprout, and that's kind of fun. I love that her last name is Sprout, actually. Pomona is a name of a city in Southern California. That's what I automatically think of because I'm a California native. But it's also the Roman goddess of fruit trees, and fittingly, this name in Latin means fruit. Next I have Regulus Black. I actually have a lot of the Black family on this list, I'm noticing. Regulus is an ancient Roman name meaning rule. It is also the name of a star in the constellation Leo. You're seeing a theme here with the origins and uses of these names from constellations or Latin or Greek mythology. Yeah, pretty cool. Number 16 on my list is Romilda Vane. There's not a lot of data on this name, which is part of maybe what makes it a little bit interesting to me. Romilda, though, it probably is a variant of Roma for the Italian city of Rome. It also might have some Greek roots, meaning famous battle. Then I have Rubeus Haggard, both pretty fun names there. He goes a lot by Haggard, but Rubeus is fun as well. It's kind of got a familiar sound, like Ruben, huh? Rubeus, Ruben. Again, it's got that S at the end, and it's probably a variant of the name Rubeus, which means red. Next is a fun one to say. Get ready, alliteration lovers. Salazar Slytherin. I remember reading this name and just being like, whoa. Perfect fit, stop right now. J.K. Rowling knows what she's doing. And it's both the name of one of the houses for Slytherin and of the character. I had a teacher in high school, Mrs. Salazar, so I thought of that. Salazar is an Old Basque or Spanish surname meaning old hall. Number 19 on my list is Severus Snape. It's a Latin name with perfect meaning for this character. Severus means stern. How fitting is that? And even the name Severus Snape, it's got that sizzle kind of sound to it. Definitely a name I associate tightly to this character. I've never known or heard of Severus outside of the Harry Potter series. And the last name on my list is Sirius Black. Funny little picture of him at the end of the video, so wait till the end so you can see that. Another name that is connected to astrology. It's the name of one of the brightest stars. It's Latin from a Greek name meaning burning, so that's kind of cool as well. Okay, now it's time to pick our favorite names. Honestly, these names, as much of a delight as they are for me, they're all a little bit guilty pleasure names for me personally. I'm not the bravest namer in the bunch. Later this week, I am going to talk about what my personal favorite names are from the Harry Potter series. Some of them are a little bit brave, some of them are pretty normal and easy to use. But yeah, so I'm going to break this down and look at the men's names, then the women's. Let's pick our favorites. So the male character names I just talked about were Albus, Draco, Gellert, Gilderoy, Kingsley, Lucius, Percival, Regulus, Rubeus, Salazar, Severus, and Sirius. So just picking my favorite names out of those, not my favorite characters. I think Gellert is kind of got a cool sound. It does sound a little surnamey to me. I also like Gilderoy. I like that Gil sound. I think Kingsley would be maybe the most usable, so yeah, that's my favorites-ish. Okay, now let's look at the girls' names. Comment below your favorites, though. That's what I'm doing this for. Okay, so the girls' names on the list, the ladies were Andromeda, Bellatrix, Ginevra, Minerva, Narcissa, Nymphadora, Pomona, and Romilda. My goodness, all those names are really strong, powerful names. My favorite is definitely Ginevra. I think it's so cool and interesting, and Ginny is a pretty cute nickname. Let me know your favorites in the comments below. And I've got a little question for you. Answer this in the comments below if you like. Would you use a name of a Harry Potter character that maybe wasn't the best character if you really loved the name? So like, would you use Bellatrix, so maybe she's not the hero of the story, but you really liked the name? I always wonder, you know, if you think these associations are too tightly close to the character or not. Also in the description box down below, I've got a playlist where I'm adding my Harry Potter themed videos all week kind of as I make them. So if you are late to this video, you can always go in there and see all 7 videos, or else you just gotta wait till the end of the week if you're watching along as I'm putting them up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and like I said, I have a funny little meme or meme, I never know how to say it, at the end of this video for you. Bye bye. The 5th name on my list is Gellert. It is Gellert, it's true. Ginevra. I just want to say Ginevra. Can we just have a Ginevra moment? Ginevra. Hi, I'm Ginevra. 13 is Nope. Oh. Number 13 is Percival. Percival. It's Percival. Seeing them in their origin, what is I'm trying to say? Regulus is an ancient Roman name. I've never known anyone else to go by the name Severus. And the last name, Severus? It's not Severus.